Well, what did I tell you? Every year, it'll always happen. So there's me about 8 or 9 o'clock at night, saving the world, obviously shooting everyone. I get to a vantage point where I can kill everyone from the top, basically on the meta quest we got for Christmas. And the phone's on because I needed it on because everyone can see we haven't quite worked out how to hook the meta quest up to the TV yet. So everyone can see what I'm doing and how fantastic I am at saving the world. So everyone's watching the phone. But then the phone rings. Ring, 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 ring. I thought, okay, cancel it, it'll be fine. And you know when it's desperate, when it rings again. So I thought, okay, I've got to ring this guy back to see what's going on. And the electrics had gone off in the kitchen. And I'd had a few drinks, so I thought, right, okay, give me a FaceTime. Let's see what we can do. And I thought I could eliminate it so we could get the sockets on in certain areas. Maybe, hopefully, it's not the kitchen so we can still cook. It might be a socket in the garage or something. So we did the process of elimination on the board because it's dual RCD. But yeah, it was the kitchen sockets. It had to be the kitchen bleeding sockets. But then he said, look, Ben, we're going out tonight, so forget about it for now. But we have got like a Boxing Day dinner, so if you could come round tomorrow at some point, that would be an advantage. Very polite, very lovely. I said, yeah, no worries, I will see you in the morning. So I get round there, and he's not a stupid bloke. He's used his noggin, and he's got an extension lead and plugged the coffee machine into a different socket that works. So I could get a coffee straight away. That was a bonus. I said, right, let's get going, see what it is. So I start diving in to see what's happened. What do you know? It's a live to earth fault. So it can't be an appliance in a way, I don't think. This is in my head what I'm thinking out loud. So it's got to be a fault with the wiring somewhere. Have you put a picture up, put a nail through? Has anything got damaged anywhere along the line? Is something still plugged in under there that's maybe blown up over time, that's gone faulty? So obviously he unplugged everything the night before, because we know that there wasn't any appliance plugged in that was tripping it. So it's got to be within the wiring. And I was there for an hour or so. I was carrying on, still couldn't find it. I split the ring and I was narrowing it down, process of elimination. I was narrowing it down to a certain leg of the ring where it was. And in my head, I'm thinking, yeah, the longer I'm here, the more money I earn, basically, because it's a call out. This would be fantastic. They'll probably play for another game on the meta quest or play for another meta quest because you need two for 2 players. But that was what I was going to, yeah, greedy maybe. So I narrowed it down to a socket, one socket. And from what I can work out, when I pulled the socket off, the cables come out the back. So when the terminals were tightened up into that socket, the terminal was threaded. So yeah, it had gone tight. Obviously the electrician who'd done it had torqued it up and it was tight at the time. But I'd say over the time, over 2 years possibly, that it become loose and then obviously it become a fault. And a small fault can even trip the RCD. So that's exactly what it was doing. Now that kitchen was relatively new, I'd say 2 years, because whoever took that socket off or put that socket on had not tightened up that terminal properly, sort of thing. So it lasted obviously 2 years, it'd been fine. But when that fault occurred, it wanted to trip the RCD. So in my thinking, it was basically the electrician who fitted the socket 2 years ago that was maybe at fault that did this. That was me. And this customer I've known for, well, even before as an electrician. Lovely guy, I've known the whole family. They are fantastic. I could pop round this guy's house to drop off a GU10 lamp and he'll maybe a bacon sandwich and a coffee and we'll sit there having a great conversation. So he's a good friend as well as a customer. So should I basically say, yes, your resistance was faulty on the socket and charge him to say it was a fault out there? I had to sort of replace the whole wiring or basically make something up so I still get paid and say it wasn't my fault, or hold your hands up and say, look man, I think this might have been my fault 2 years ago. I possibly cross-threaded that terminal and it's just become faulty over time and it's done its job. It's tripped the fuse, which is exactly what I'd want it to do. It tripped the fuse so it was wired right, just not tight enough. A small fault that's escalated over time. And then obviously should I just like walk out and say thanks for the coffee, Merry Christmas, see you in the new year? Or should I say, I'll send you a bill and be prepared, because it will be very, very big for a call out on Christmas Day. What would you do?